Good morning, y'all. This is Noelle with Baker's Backyard Bounty, and today is a big day because I have not had to microwave my coffee one time this morning. Not one time. Usually I'm on my third microwave by now, but I have some sleeping kiddos. The sun is rising, and it's going to be a really good day. I have a feeling.
So I'm going to be planting some things today because I've harvested quite a bit. I need some more seeds in the ground in order to keep getting a harvest throughout the winter. But I am limited on what is going to germinate and what is going to really have time to grow, especially with the short days. I mean, around here, literally, it feels like it gets dark around like 4:45, like 5 o'clock. So the days are getting a lot shorter, which means that plants grow a lot slower because of the light. So what I'm going to be doing today is planting some radishes. I cleaned out green beans from containers. I cleaned out some zinnias that got destroyed by the frost. So I have some good container space open. So I'm going to be planting some radishes in my big containers. These take on average around 20 something days to harvest. So they're really quick and they taste amazing roasted. I learned that trick from Roots and Refuge, Jess at Roots and Refuge, because I don't like the taste of raw radish. It's like spicy and kind of like abrasive to me, but roasted they taste like sweet, almost like roasted carrots. So what I have here are some China Rose radishes. I have early Scarlet Glow. Oh, you're stuck on the slide. Oh, hang on. And then French breakfast radishes. Okay, so those three varieties of radishes are going to go in containers, and I'm going to do some succession planting. So I'll plant some this week and then plant some next week, just so that I can have like more of a sustainable harvest instead of all at once and then having to start over and all at once and having to start over. But I will say that these last really well in the fridge. I have been saving those lettuce containers, that like the plastic containers of washed greens that you can get at the grocery store. I've been saving those, and I put our greens in there, and I put these radishes, pretty much anything I harvest from the garden. I've been sticking in those in the fridge, and it keeps them like, this word is weird to me, I don't know why, but like crisp and fresh instead of getting wilted in the fridge because of the cold. So just a little tip, save those containers if you want to harvest greens or radishes or really anything in the garden and keep it fresh in the fridge. If you sow the greens thick enough, then you get just like more of a diverse and longer duration of a harvest. So doing the microgreens and then thinning it out, harvesting baby greens, and then allowing some of the plants to get to full maturity. So what I have here that I'm going to be doing is some 5-color silver beet Swiss chard. I'm going to be doing, I got this free from Baker Creek. Some Japanese giant red mustard. So those are kind of like a more spicy green. Doing some butter crunch lettuce. Ooh, we love this stuff. And doing some Bloomsdale spinach. I have so much of this I need to use up. So I'm going to be putting those in some containers and then in the space that I have in the no-till garden as well. Things that have been growing super well, I highly recommend. I cooked them the other night and they were amazing with some chicken stock, bacon grease, onion, and garlic. Are these old-timey blue collards. I had never grown collards, never cooked collards, and they are killing it over there. They're growing really well, super frost tolerant. So if you want a fall garden, I highly suggest trying some of these. And then I have 3 varieties of kale, and I'm thinking I'm going to plant some more of these, again, for like some baby greens, some baby kale, and then hopefully some more full heads, although I have quite a bit of kale growing in the no-till garden right now. I don't know, I just can never get enough because you can use it in everything. Stir fries with eggs, use it in smoothies, use it in stews and soups. So I really have enjoyed growing kale, and I have 3 varieties. I have this, it's lacinato kale, I think is how you say it. I've always known it as dinosaur kale. So it's the kale that's like kind of bumpy and rough. Then I have some scarlet kale, which is really beautiful. It's got this nice purple, deep red color. And then some blue curled Scotch kale. And that tastes really good as a salad. So that's been really fun growing those. I'm going to plant some more of those today. Trying to think of what else to update you guys on. You know, here's the deal. I'm starting this channel as we're going into winter, which is really ironic to be starting like a gardening, homesteading channel going into winter. But that's okay because that's part of the journey, is during this season, it's just slower. There's less growth. There's less color. And I used to always hate the winter, like that seasonal affective disorder, SAD. I definitely struggled with that because it just felt like I was withstanding the winter trying to get to the sunshine and the spring and the flowers. But I was in a yoga class probably 2 years ago, and the teacher was talking about how winter is needed. Like, it is not just a waste of time to wait it out until the good stuff comes. Like, winter is intended to be a time of slowness and quiet and going within and reflection. Like, we need that. Like, we can't have the abundance and the productivity and the busyness of the summer garden all year round, or we would burn out. So I think God is just good in that way, and that he gives us seasons, and if we abide, then we have enough energy and enough resources to sustain us all year round. So as someone who really likes to burn at both ends of the candle, I just like to be a go-getter. Winter is a beautiful, I don't know, teacher, a spiritual teacher for me.
Throw it to the chickens. Throw it to the chickens. I have left the house to go plant shopping. Our front flower bed does not look so welcoming. It looks kind of dried out and sad and weary, which is not what I want the first impression of our house to be, because we're not dried out and weary. So I went to my favorite nursery locally, and they're closed on Sundays during the winter hours. So I came to a big box store, and I'm gonna see what goodies I can find. I have the design in my head, I just have to find the ingredients. And I have been warned by Reed that this is not a Christmas pansy extravaganza. It is just a small flower bed in our front yard. So I'm definitely gonna have to like rein it in a little bit. But we'll see how this works out. So here at the big box store, I always come to the plant hospice shelves so that I can maybe try and revive some of these babies. And they do have some pansies and some ornamental kale and cabbage. So I'm gonna see if I can make it work and salvage these puppies, all about that sustainability. So it might look janky for a couple weeks, but once it fills in, maybe it'll be beautiful. So I'm back home. I'm gonna show you guys the before and then work on this hopefully tomorrow and have a good little after for you. But this is the little front bed that we're talking about. So I have a little cute whiskey barrel, but it just looks sad and depleted. It was really beautiful at one time, but it's been put through the ringer. So I'm gonna clear all that out and plant my cute little Johnny jump ups, pansies, some cabbages. So take a look at these precious ragamuffins. That's probably what Jesus calls us, precious ragamuffins, and that is the truth. So the core of these is really good. These were like $1, regular like $5. And I'm just gonna pull off and prune the dead stuff, give it some fertilizer, just a boost of compost, and I think these are gonna fill in really, really beautifully. I got 5 of these. And what a great discount. And then these pansies were $1, so they're like half off, just about, or 50 cents off, I guess. And math, it's hard. And they just look sad, they just need to be deadheaded. But again, the core is really good and healthy. So we're gonna make this work, and I feel really good about bringing these back to life. So over here we are, hey girl, we are creating a cut flower garden. Check out that bracelet, it's so cool. Hey, I'm trying to show them our cut flower garden, although although you are my lily. Ba-doom, psh.
Baby.
Ball.
Ball.
Ball. Yeah. Hot.
Yeah, coffee. Over here, we're creating a cut flower garden. We just put this in about a month ago. Reed loves flowers. I love flowers.
This might work a little better. And Lily loves walking through the cut flower garden. I want to create some bouquets. Like, that's important to me. I love flowers, but I know that, you know, I can grow them rather than have them shipped across the nation to my local Kroger's or whatever it may be. So I'm excited to try some new varieties. What I have going now are some Ranuculus bulbs that I got from Eden Brothers. Ranuculus flowers are beautiful. They come in reds and yellows and pinks, I think even whites. So I ordered like 15 bulbs just to give it a try. And they're sprouting beautifully. I don't know if you can tell, but all those green patches are my Ranuculus bulbs sprouting, and they're just gonna add some beautiful color to the winter. So I think gardening is a beautiful way for us to engage in self-care and love on ourselves, because I planted these knowing that I would want some joy bombs throughout the winter months when it gets really dark and cold and we're stuck inside. So like the Brandy Carlisle song, if you want to garden, you're gonna have to sow the seeds, you know? So sowing the seeds isn't always the most fun. It takes time. I actually enjoy it, but you know, I want to have a payoff later down the road. So again, it's teaching me about preparation and planning, and there she goes with something in her hand. And just being intentional. I keep using that word today, but it's just really been on my mind. Being intentional with setting us up for long-term joy instead of just that instant gratification. So I can't wait to share with you guys when these flowers pop. So over here on our side garden bed, the no-till space, there is such a drastic difference between the two halves. So we've done things for financial reasons and just time with having 2 young kids. We've done things in phases. So we killed all the grass over here by using a tarp and just letting the sun this summer solarize the grass, and that worked out beautifully. In one half, we went ahead and put down cardboard, we put down a layer of compost and topsoil mix, and then we put wood chips down. I will tell you, I have pulled out maybe 10 weeds. Like, it has been amazing. Super low maintenance. The plants are doing great. It retains moisture super well. Now, over here, let me see if I can show you. This half, we did not do those steps. We didn't put cardboard down or the mulch, and I just put compost down, kind of tilled up the ground a little bit just to add some rows and break up the grass roots, and it is covered in weeds. It's covered in clover. I still have a bunch of carrots and rutabaga over here growing, but I'm gonna have to just, I don't know, work around it and add in that cardboard and mulch, because it just makes such a drastic difference. It makes my life so much easier. Honestly, I've just let this go. Over here, I had my container with the green beans in it, and it's a good size. One trick is that beans are great for adding nitrogen to the soil. However, they only add it when the roots are left in the ground and they die. That's when they add the nitrogen to the soil. So if you're pulling out some green beans this season, leave the roots, just cut it right at the soil line, and you can compost the greens or give them to your livestock or your chickens. But if the roots stay in and you let them die, then that's what really gives that nitrogen boost to the soil. Isn't that sound of the chimes so divine? It's like perfectly windy outside, where the chimes aren't like heavy metal band playing. I love them. I love the sound of chimes. We have them on our front porch, and they just play throughout our house like all day long. It's just a nice little calming soundtrack for our family. Anyways, over here is that side garden bed I was talking about, where I planted all my greens and they just didn't take off. So I planted my onion transplants. I added some bone meal to the soil, which is really good for especially like bulbs. So garlic, tulips, ranunculus bulbs,
rutabagas, any kind of root vegetable, and onions. So I'm really trying to learn more about like fertilizers, natural fertilizers, and bone meal is one that I'm trying out this year. In addition to like my worm castings and just adding in some good topsoil that we purchased. So really trying to amend our soils so that we have better yields and better production. It just takes time, especially like being here in suburbia. These lawns were not designed with the intention of vegetable gardening. It was just to get some grass growing. So, ooh, just kind of chilly. Ooh, does that take your breath away? I'll take you in soon. So that's what's going on over here. I also do have some iris bulbs and some hydrangeas growing over here. So once the onions are done, I think I'm gonna make this into a cottage garden and just forget the vegetables because of the sunlight. Love that noise. All right, here is the before of the garden bed. I have some dying creeping Jenny, some dying ground cover. I don't exactly know what all of these are actually. It's been planted over and over so many times that I can't even remember what's growing from what year. But pansies and kale are going in now. So I kind of garden like I cook. Just messy and a little bit hodgepodge. So once all this fills in, I'm really excited. Right now it looks a little bit like a fresh haircut. You know how you kind of have to give it some time and some space to really I don't know, look a little more natural, but everything is in some beautiful color. It looks so much more fresh and alive. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. May you find the bounty in your own life and see all of the beauty that it holds. Until next time.